In this episode, I had a successful stealth camp in this government parking lot. Then I made a thumbnail for my next YouTube video. I explored Marfa, Texas on my bicycle. Stopped at Napa to pick up the parts I need to fix my thermostat overheating issue.
What is that?
Saw a pyramid?
What the heck is that?
Hearing this like vibration happening, and then I hear some really loud clunks coming from the rear end.
And vehicle troubles continue to haunt me.
This van is cursed. What is going on?
Stealth camping in this government parking lot was a success. I slept like a rock, but boy oh boy, it was chilly when I woke up this morning. This was my first time seeing frost on the windows this winter. So I turned on my mini split to warm up this tiny home on wheels and drove over to the library so that I could connect to their Wi-Fi. I love the fact that I can get blazing fast upload speeds from right inside my van. My next YouTube video is complete, ready to be uploaded, but I need to make a thumbnail. So I figured I would show you guys a little behind the scenes of how I make that happen. With the thumbnail complete and the video uploading, I decided to take a ride around Marfa and check out some of these cool old buildings. Marfa is a small town in the high desert of West Texas. The city was founded in the early 1880s as a water stop, which is where steam engines would stop to refill the water for their engines. Now, fast forward to present day, Marfa has a population of only 1,788 people, and it's a tourist stop that features minimalist art installations. This sounds like the perfect place for a van lifer. As I ride around the town, I really love the mix of old and new things. There are plenty of old buildings and cars mixed in with modern architecture and design. I really appreciate how they have kept the small town charm. Some streets I ride down look like a time capsule from 100 years ago. This town definitely feels like it just moves at a slower pace, which I can really appreciate as a van lifer. It's nice to not have that big city rush and hustle and bustle and just kind of sit back and relax and appreciate your surroundings. If you're someone that's into photography and old buildings and antiques, you should definitely stop by Marfa, Texas. With my YouTube video now uploaded, it's time to hit the road again and head west towards El Paso. My plan was to pick up a new thermostat here in Marfa, but they don't have what I need, so I have to drive about an hour and a half to Napa Auto Parts in the next town over.
I've been driving for about half an hour. I am halfway to the town, and what I want to do is pull over and check my radiator, just visually inspect it so I can hear the radiator fan running and my blower motor for the interior fan is running. Here's my overflow reservoir. You can see the coolant levels right here. A little bit of moisture on the edge here. It's a little bit wet, but it's not boiling over, so that's good. So here's what I'm curious about. You can see this mountain range, this plateau, all the way along the opposite side of the highway. But I want to know, what is that? What the heck is that? That looks like a pyramid. You guys see that? What is that? I want to know. I'm about half an hour west of Marfa, Texas. All right, so we're coming into town. We are about 5 miles from Napa Auto Parts, and car's been doing good the whole way. The temperature's been steady at about 50%, so that's great news. It has not overheated, but I'm gonna go ahead and buy the thermostat and the thermostat gasket and antifreeze anyway, just in case. So here's what I got. I got the thermostat, I got some coolant system flush, and 3 gallons of coolant. And so they did not have the gasket in stock. So I'm gonna have to drive to the next town and hopefully find the gasket. So this is all just emergency stuff. I'm hoping I'm able to make it all the way to my dad's without any issues. And then I'll flush the whole cooling system there, replace the thermostat, new gasket, all the cooling system stuff. But just in case something happens and I don't make it, I do have a thermostat and I do have the coolant. So hopefully I can at least get back on the road and limp it to Arizona. Check out my hoard. Check out my hoard of like car repair items. I have all this coolant, I have extra oil, automatic transmission fluid, radiator flush, gasket maker, some spray paint, thermostat, all kinds of, these are the things you have to carry in your van with you when you're living van life and you're driving an old van. So here's the next leg of my journey, leaving from Van Horn, that's where the Napa Auto Parts is, heading up to El Paso, Texas, the last city in Texas. We have a 1 hour and 43-minute drive ahead of us. So I'm gonna fuel up while I'm here in Van Horn and head northwest. All right, friends, I have some more news to report. So the vehicle is not overheating, but I'm driving down the highway and I start hearing this like vibration happening. And then I hear some really loud clunks coming from the rear end. And I looked in the rear view mirror, and on 2 separate occasions, I saw little black, like pretty big, like maybe this big size things come flying out from underneath the van. Like, I can't believe it. This van is cursed. What is going on? So I'm pulled over on the side of the highway. I haven't looked yet, but I gotta crawl underneath and see what something just blew up under my van. And I'm on the side of the highway in the middle of Texas, an hour and a half from El Paso. What flew off of my vehicle? What was it? What was it that flew off? There's a bunch of fluid leaking from my transmission brake. I found it. My tire blew out. Look at that. my inner dual tire blew out. This is crazy. So that's what the noise was. I literally had patches of tread blowing off my tire and literally scattering down the highway. Son of a bitch. So I'm gonna have to pull out the jack up the rear end, and pull that wheel off and change it out in El Paso. Let's freaking go, universe. Is that all you got? Is that all you got? Blown out tire? Overheating van? Let's go. So I'm getting ready to change out the dual, but it's really like, I don't want to be right here on the side of the highway. And I noticed there's like a parallel road over here. It looks like some little service road thing. So I think I'm going to pull over there and change my tire on that road, because it doesn't look like it's really used much. So we're going to go ahead and drive over there, limp it over, and swap out those tires. So once again, Nomad Brad is gonna bring you some positivity. It's a beautiful day, and like I said, I was able to pull off the highway. I drove over that median, and I'm on this side road, and there's no traffic here. And it's not a bad location to change a tire. And here's the thing too, here's what I love about dualies, and this is why I really appreciate having a dually, is all you have to do, if you lose one tire, you just pull it off and throw it in the back and just get it fixed at the next service station. So I'll be able to drive all the way to El Paso on just 5 tires instead of 6, 5 wheels. So yeah, that's a great thing about a dually, is you technically always have 2 spares with you. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna get after it. Let's go do a tire change on the side of the highway. Let's go.
So the first step for taking off a wheel is you want to break the lug nuts loose while the vehicle is still firmly planted on the ground. If you try to loosen the lug nuts while the vehicle's jacked up, then the wheels will spin, and also you're just putting a lot of strain on the jack itself. Once I broke all the lug nuts free, I went ahead and put my 12-ton bottle jack under the axle as close as possible to the blown tire and jacked it up until the tires were completely off the ground. Now it's pretty easy to just spin the lug nuts off.
We're making content. We're making content. We're making content for YouTube, all my wonderful followers. I'm out here blowing tires so you don't have to. You can stay home in the comfort of your sticks and bricks and not have to change out a blown tire on the highway. Let me tell you what though, I'm gonna be honest right now. I'm actually really happy that this is what happened, because this is about the only thing that I can fix on the side of the road is a blown tire. So I'm cool with it. We'll take it.
After doing it by hand this way for a little bit, I realized I could just grab my electric drill and spin them off a lot faster. With all the lug nuts removed and the wheels jacked up off the ground, it's pretty easy to just go ahead and slide the wheel off. Now in this case, I had to take them both off because the inner wheel was the one that was actually blown out.
So here's what the inside of a dual wheel looks like. Here's the studs, here's the old wheel. It's actually a pretty simple change out. I'm just gonna rip this guy off, put the old one back on.
So I pulled off both wheels, set aside the blown tire, and then put the good tire back in, and I put it facing inward so that the dual wheel will stick out a little bit further and just kind of help distribute the weight, and it won't be too lopsided. These particular wheels have a little stud in the middle that aligns them in a certain position, so I had to kind of rotate the wheel a little bit to get that little alignment stud to poke through the wheel. And then I just went ahead and started tightening the lugs back on.
Look at that! That was pretty easy. Ah. All right, my friends, so here's where we're at. All the lugs are back on except for this one. So this guy right here, there's something wrong with it. When I try to thread it on, it's trying to cross thread, and I've learned my lesson before. I'm not gonna try to push it and make it fit. So I'm just gonna leave it off. We're gonna roll with 7 lugs instead of 8 until we get to El Paso. So we only have an hour and a half to drive. I'll keep it 55. And with 7 lugs and 1 wheel. 7 lugs and 1 wheel on the outside dually. So hopefully we make it. Let's take another look at this tire. Look at that. Just blown up. That thing is toast. So I dropped it. I just dropped the tire onto this valve stem extender, and it just bent this and it broke the valve stem off the tire. So, you know, that's okay. We're having fun today.
Once the lugs were tightened, I went ahead and released the bottle jack so that all the wheels were firmly planted on the ground. Then I went back to get my breaker bar and tightened everything down by hand to get it nice and snug. Then I rolled my old blown out tire to the back. I laid a little blanket down. It's like a tarp that I have that I use for working under the rig. I just laid that down and then threw the wheel on top of it. And now I'm heading to El Paso to get this bad boy fixed.
Okay, my friends, here we are back in the van. Got the tire changed out. It wasn't even that bad. It literally took me less than a half hour to get that thing swapped. So now we are running, though, with considerable more weight on that single wheel. It's missing a lug nut. So we're going to try to keep it slow, like 55 the whole way there. It's only an hour and a half. We'll be fine. Here's how little I am concerned. If that tire blows out, the single tire, then we're going to pull that one off, throw it in the back, and pull the tire from the other side and mount it on the driver's side. So no matter what, we're getting to El Paso and we're buying new tires. And let me tell you why I'm so confident and why I know this works. About 2 years ago in my previous box truck, right when I first bought it, before it was built out, I took it up to Bend, Oregon to BLM, like off-road, back roads. And I was about 6 miles off of the main highway and I blew out one of my rear duals. I blew it out because I hit a rock. I got a sidewall puncture. The whole thing blew out. And so what I actually did in that case is the same thing here. I just pulled off the blown tire, threw it in the back, and I actually ended up, because I was with friends at the time, and I ended up hanging out the whole weekend. We drove around to multiple campsites. I mean, I totally forgot I was even missing a wheel. And so I know that these vehicles drive just fine missing a wheel. Anyway, I'm pretty confident in it. The only question, of course, is the tires themselves. You know, maybe the tires are just in general bad. So that could be an issue, but either way, what are you gonna do? We gonna keep going. We gonna push forward. Let's go. Just 10 minutes away from Discount Tire in El Paso, Texas. It's been a smooth drive, uneventful. Vehicle temperature has been stable, 50% the whole way, which is curious to me why it overheated a few days ago. But I'm happy it hasn't overheated again, and I'm still riding on that single tire on the back side, no problems. So yeah, super happy about it. And now we just got to cruise up to Discount Tire and get those bad boys changed out.
Yeah, no, probably a little less than that, honestly. He just came out of the airport.
All right, friends, so Nomad Brad is back in action. I just picked up the box truck. I got 2 new tires in the back. Went super smooth. There was only $350 for 2 new tires mounted and balanced. So I was pretty happy about that. Now check this out. As soon as I picked up, they pulled the van around and parked it for me, and I got up and hopped in, and I realized like 3 light bulbs on my dash went out. Can you believe that? So I can't see the engine oil pressure or the fuel level, and part of my tachometer is out. Like, this is so unreal. It's like this thing is just falling apart. I don't know what is going on, but now I got to change out the bulbs in my dash, and additionally, they did not have an extra lug nut. So I'm still rolling with only 7 lug nuts on the back, which, I mean, it'll be fine, but I gotta order a new lug nut, and holy cow, dude, it just keeps on getting crazy. So that's it. I'm tired. It's been a long day, as you have seen, and so I'm just gonna go to Sprouts. There's a Sprouts like a mile from here. I'm gonna grab some more groceries and just crash. I just want to lay down and watch some YouTube and relax. So that's what I'm gonna do tonight. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and hopefully we don't have any more breakdowns.